welcome to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes the lead. I'm Saar.
And I'm Crystal, and today we're diving into the latest race results and hot topics in women's cycling.
And we have a guest joining us to share her story. Let's get started. Ready? Hello everyone and welcome to episode 19 of She Rides. We had the Strade in the weekend and then so that was the main race I think, with the first real battle on high level between Anna van der Breggen and Demi Vollering, which was quite exciting. So we're gonna talk about that, but we also have a guest with us today. Hi Audrey.
Hi everyone, really happy to join for this podcast and happy to talk again about women's cycling, of course.
We're happy that you're with us today. So maybe before we start, and the people who don't know you, which would be surprising, but just in case, can you just introduce yourself shortly?
So I'm Audrey Cordon-Ragot. I'm a French cyclist, or I was a French cyclist. I retired the first of this year, and I was a pro cyclist from 2008 to 2024. I've been in several teams, and my last team was Human Powered Health, but I've been before in Trek Segafredo, We Go I5, and iTech Products in Vienne Futuroscope, which is now the FD Suez. I was also a member of the national team, and I did 3 times the Olympics, and I did the last ones in Paris. So that's all about my career. I won several titles at nationals, and I also won some auto races.
That's quite a pedigree we're having here today, actually, for a change. Welcome, Audrey. But first things first, we go back in time. How actually did you enter cycling? Because that dates from the Stone Age, let's say it, if you compare it to today's women's cycling. So
thank you, Christoph.
That just means that women's cycling is evolving very fast. That's what I mean, Audrey. It's no insult. So how did a girl back then enter cycling? Well, what was it, your first sport, or did you just roll in it accidentally?
Well, my family was a cycling family. Like my dad was a cyclist. My uncle was a cyclist. I think the first ride I did on my trolley was around a cycling course, looking at my dad racing. So it was for me a sport, like natural sport in my life, and I always been attracted by sport in general. So at school I was doing all the sports I could do. I was doing it, but my dad really wanted me to be on a bike, so I started in a bike school in 2000 actually. Yeah, that's long ago. And I did straight away my first competitions, and I really loved it. I was a competitor from the start, and then afterwards I just went all along the normal courses with the normal, I would say categories growing up, and started to meet with the national team when I was a junior, or just a little before, on some training camps. And then, I never stopped joining the national team for every kind of competition I could do at the international level. And then I would say I was in a pro team in 2008 in Vienne Futuroscope, but I was a real pro when I joined Trek Segafredo in 19, and where I had my first real pro contract, and I could earn enough money to do only cycling. So it was not so long ago in the end, but then I have no regrets, because I had really like almost 6 years of real pro cycling, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. So you were born on a bike, actually.
Almost.
Yeah. That's something different, because most of our guests today, they're like, I started cycling during COVID.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also cool.
Yeah. So finally something different today. And during your career, Audrey, you were quite the all-rounder. You've been active as a cyclocrosser. I don't know if many people know that. You were a track cyclist, and of course, everybody should know you were a TT specialist, and then you did quite well on the road as well. So tell us a bit about your favorite disciplines, and then what did you like the most? Because usually it's something like when you're younger, you do cyclocross or something. It's like, oh, that was pure fun, but then you stop riding it. So tell us, what did you like the most, actually?
I would say my first two disciplines were track and road, and I came later on cyclocross for preparing the road season. So I never took it as a real discipline that I would do 100%, but I really loved it. And in Bretagne, where I live, we still have a lot of competitions in the winter. So for me, it was easier to do some efforts on the cyclocross bike than going out under the rain and the cold and doing it by myself. So that's the reason why I was doing cyclocross mostly. But track was, I would say when I started cycling was almost half track, half road. And I think, track until 2014 at the highest level. Like I was with the national team as well, doing some World Cups. I remember one of my favorite moments in my career was my silver medal in a team pursuit when the team pursuit just started. So it was, I would say, 2009, something like this. And was Joanna Rosewell and Lizzie Degnan on the first step. So yeah, it's something that I remember really well. But afterwards, I think, it was very difficult for me to do both disciplines at the highest level. So I choose for road because, I don't know in the end why, just because I had more opportunities there, I guess, and I continued on the road.
Yeah, good choice. Eventually. And during your whole career, just to round that introduction part up, what's the result you're most proud of? It can be a race result, but it can be something completely different as well as a result.
I would say I loved all my French titles because they were all different, and each time I had my whole family, friends who were there, so I could really share the victories with them, and that's something special that you don't have. Every races you do is not like this, so I really enjoyed it. But if I look at the real value of the victories I had were probably the victories I had in World Tour races. And the stage I won in CIMAC Ladies Tour in 22 was very special because TT was my specialty, and I won in front of really big riders, and I was really proud of the achievement because I was working so hard to come to this point, and for me it was a real achievement. So maybe I would choose this one.
Nice. But then let's go back to the very beginning, like you said, the ancient roots of FDG Suez, not as famous as FDG Suez back then, but at Vienne Futuroscope in 2007, actually, you won the Chrono des Nations, the junior race. Was that actually the launch of the career of Audrey, or what was it a turning point for you? Did you then start to realize, like, something might be possible?
Well, this team started in 2006, if my memory is good, and I entered it in 2008. So for 2 years, this team was my dream team, and I was too young to be in. So I knew at the end of my second junior year, I could enter it, and I was the best junior in France in 2007. So I knew I had a good chance to enter it, but until the Chrono des Nations, I had no answer from them. And after Chrono des Nations, I met with the sport director. At that time was Damien Pomereau, who is now back in women's cycling. And I went to him and say, now you have to give me an answer because I won again today. So please, I really want to do it more serious for next year. And I know this is the team I need to be in to progress and to be a better cyclist. And I think a few days later, he told me, yeah, okay, you will join for the first training camp this winter. So for me, it was a dream. But at that time, I couldn't really imagine to leave from my sport, because it was not so, it was not a fact, like was not something that was really existing, or I didn't even know like who was really earning money from it. So it was just for fun. And at the same time, I just wanted to win races. That was my only wish. And earning money was not even in my mind.
Yeah, great. And then, that took off quite fast with Via and Futuroscope, right? How did you manage all this? Were you completely ready for this, or did you enter a roller coaster at the beginning of your career? Because I can imagine as a junior, as a young woman in racing, it can be quite a lot to manage.
Yeah, I think I've been surrounded really well from the start. And that's, if I had an advice to give to the new riders and the young riders, is choose the right people around you. You can make mistakes sometimes, but the real one is probably the family. And my dad was there, but not too there as well, because sometimes it's also not so good. So for me, I don't have any memories from being stressed or overpressured. I was just enjoying. I was just traveling around Europe and the world. I remember to go in Canada. At the time, we had a World Cup in Canada. And I was just like doing it. And whatever the result is, I was just having fun. And I was almost not thinking of the tomorrow. I was just living the present moment. And it's been like this until I think 2013, where, I don't know, I started to feel like I need something more. I need a team where I can, I can get the step above where I am now. And that was the reason why I started to look for another team, and came Carl Lima with iTech Products, and that was the real start of the real professional career I had afterwards. So until there, I was just a kid playing. That's it.
Yeah, which just proves your entourage was amazing, because you need an entourage when you're at a young age to make mistakes, to have the right to fail, because you have to learn from all those mistakes. And it's not for everyone. Not every entourage is like so supportive, unfortunately. And especially with parents or family who come from cycling. Those are the most difficult ones, actually. So you had twice the luck, actually, with your family then.
It's true. And I see often some parents, and mostly dads, who are really there, and that comes from a really good feeling to do that. But sometimes it's a little bit too much, and I think it's very important to let your kid play, let your kid making mistakes, because you're learning from it. And that's all what my dad was doing is, okay, you want to do this training, I don't think it's right, but you're gonna do it yourself, do it the way you want. And then after it was not working, it was like, yeah, you see. And I only saw him sometimes angry after a race in the car and doing the debrief of the race, like, why you did this, why you did that, you should have done this, next time I want to see you doing this. But that was the only little details he was giving me, and I was mostly learning from it, and the time after I was better. So I was very lucky, you're right.
Yeah, totally. Because last winter, for example, from an anecdote I had at cyclocross, I was 15, 16 years old, and a dad was shouting to his son, like, you're making mistakes. But I was like, yes, of course he's making mistakes. He's a kid, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he's going to make more mistakes because you're shouting at him. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's not helping. So good advice, dear parents. Follow the entourage of Audrey there. That's the way to do it.
As long as you are still there next to them and just carry them afterwards is what you have to do, I think, as a dad or as a mom.
Yeah, completely right. And then you mentioned already that the real boom, the real boost of your career came at the year you joined the Norwegian ranks of Team Hightech at the time. just a question: how did you end up in a Norwegian team? How does Carl Lima keep on fighting French talent until today? Actually,
Actually, he didn't look for me at all. I was the one in August. It was in Plouay 2013. I was done with my team. I really wanted to have a new challenge, a new project, and I said to was not my husband at that time, but to my boyfriend, well, you know what? I like this team because I really loved the riders riding for this team, and this team looked so cool. And it was at that time, I would say, the second best team in the world after Rabobank. So I really, really wanted to join this team, and I knew they were in Plouay, and I said to Carl, well, I really would like to join you. I think I sent a message on Twitter. It was so unprofessional, but I just went, full as a kid again. And I said to him, yeah, can I meet with you at your hotel? And he was not at the same hotel as me. So I drove my car to his hotel, and we sat for maybe 20 minutes. And at the end of it, he said, well, okay, Audrey, you convinced me. I have no budget for you, so I cannot pay you anymore. I cannot pay you. But I will give you 2 bikes and you will join the team. So yeah, after 20 minutes, it was like, okay, this one, she has such, we say in French, bagou, like she just go on, she's not scared. And I was not talking one word of English. So really, I was there with my basic English, trying to explaining why I wanted to join the team and why I was there, sat with him. And he just said, okay, let's go. And I joined the team, and that was the best choice of my career, I think.
Yeah, that's the least you can say. That season was really great. And then if you want to reach Carl Lima, send a tweet. That's the easiest way to reach him. For sure. And that's the Norwegian way of doing business. 20 minutes and done deal.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's the kind of manager who is for so long now in women's cycling and know exactly how it works, and who is able to pick the right girls. And every year you see 1 or 2 girls, unfortunately going out of the team for a bigger team, but is the one growing them up. So yeah.
And that team was stacked when you were there.
It was amazing. Yeah, Johansson. No, Johansson was out of it the year I came. Yeah, because I was teammate with her only when she joined Wiggle. But she was one of the reasons why I wanted to join this team. And at that time, probably I didn't know she was leaving. But we were so many young girls, like almost the same age. Julie Lett, Ashley Moolman, Elisa Longoborghini, Chloe Osking. And yeah, I'm forgetting some others and the atmosphere was just amazing. I spent so much time in Belgium, guys, that because of that I love your country so much. and yeah, I just learned the job there,
Yeah, learn the roads, learn the twists and turns, learn the positioning. No better way to do it than on the Flemish roads. You can still see that with the young riders as well, with the non-Belgian young riders. It's very obvious. You can just pick them out during the Flemish Classics.
Yeah, you have to embrace it,
It's just like at the back of the peloton, getting completely lost on the parkour. It's like, yep, first timer, yes.
True.
It's like completely different here. That's what we hear a lot. That yeah, but we can just agree that that one season, that was a true coming of age season for you, right? So you have some nice anecdotes about that special year for you, or some stories we should know you want to share with us?
Not special stories, but I think every races, every hours I spent with the team. We were staying in Ninove in a super nice B&B. And I'm still in contact with those people owning it because I spent so much time there. And yeah, I don't know, I saw them more than my own family. So it was for me super important to feel good and to feel comfortable. And they were giving us this feeling. So everything was so cool. And if I have to pick one race that I really enjoyed, was probably Tour de Bretagne with Elisa, when we were first and second on GC, and I won a stage, and it was, we were just playing so good together. And the friendship I have with her started there, and we are still super friends. So I think that's a real present that Carl gave me this year, really.
And then you moved over to Wiggle and Trek. You became 7 times national champion in the TT, 2 road national titles. So you really arrived on the big stage. How was it for you, and was the transition easy?
Well, I think I never felt different year after year. I was just the same person. I was just getting older and maybe more calm and thinking a little bit more before talking, maybe. But as a rider also, I was just, learning from my mistakes, and that's what made me a better rider every year. And also being one of the best domestic in the world, and always doing the job for the best riders of the world. That's a chance, and each time I could grab my chance, and mostly on national races, I was taking my chance, and I was almost always like winning, or always being on the podium. So I was kind of, I would say, for me it was a job, but still 100% passion. And that's what I kept until the end, So I never felt like I had need to have pressure or any, maybe only when I came to Trek, because I had a salary at that time. So I was like, you earn money for doing your job. So you do things even more professionally, but still loving what I was doing all the time. And that's, I think, I don't know, but maybe the future generation will lose a little bit that, because they will be professional, earning so much money from the start and having so much pressure from the start. And I'm not sure in the future you will have more riders with, like me or Marianne or Lucinda Brown or Longo Borghini, with almost 20 years of career, because they will be tired before that. So that was my luck, to always be, if today is not okay, then tomorrow will be fine. And I think I was lucky to have to ride in this generation, to be honest.
And then you mentioned it in the beginning, Olympics. You participated 3 times. What were your best memories about them, and do you have a favorite edition?
They were like, I did London in 12, and I was so young. I think I was last year the 23, so probably 22, something like this. And I was going there, it was the end of Gianni Longo's generation in France, and we were 3 young girls, not expecting at all to be at the Olympics this year. Like, none of us in the winter were thinking of it. And suddenly, after nationals, end of June, we end up being at the start of the Olympics in London, when from the 1st of January, I had no idea I would do that. So we came there with Pauline and Aude, and we were like just enjoying the village, just enjoying what was going around us, and just like, wow, we are there. Like, that's incredible. So to be honest, sportively, I was probably not even ready. Like, I was just, I didn't train different, because anyway, I knew almost 3 weeks before I was going there. So I had no special training for it, but I just enjoy it. And at the end, was not so bad. Then 16 in Rio, that time I had it in the head since the winter before, and I was just like preparing so much for it, trying to lose weight, because the parkour was so hard, and it just came like a crab in my head, and I was just constantly thinking of it. And I think it just destroyed my head and destroyed at that time, probably my passion almost for cycling. And it was a disaster there because of all that. So then, Japan, I couldn't go there. We only had one spot for France, and the parkour was suiting much more Juliette. And arrived Paris, and after all, the 22 year, who was a disaster for me, I was like, oh, should I quit cycling? Should I continue? And then I knew the Olympics would be in Paris in 24. So it has been my red rope that I was following the whole time. Going to Paris was the only reason why I kept on going. And being at the start was for me, like leaving cycling from the big door, you know. And I was so proud, and it was so emotional for me to be there at home, ready for it, because for sure I trained so hard for it. And the biggest challenge for me was to enjoy the moment and not being hit by the pressure and the stress. And I worked so hard with my mental coach to enjoy the moment and knowing that you're ready. And even if you are 80% today for any reason, you will be 100% of this 80%. And it's been really hard work all along for that. But when I arrived there, I enjoyed it 100%. And I'm very proud of that.
I can imagine that was a very special experience for you. You were part of quite some Olympics. Did you have the feeling like the treatment or the environment maybe during the 3 Olympic Games changed around women's cycling?
The Olympics always been like the race where everyone is treated the same, basically, because you go there as an athlete, as a French athlete or as a Belgian athlete, among all the other athletes from all the other sports. So you have the same package to start with. You are at the same place. And you are just the same rider as, I don't know, was there with me in London. Sylvain Chavanel was there. And in Rio, I had Julien Alaphilippe. So it was the same as me. We had the same tracksuit, and no one can say how much he's earning and how much I'm earning. So, you know, you are just the same. And that's the beauty of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
That's great. That should be today in the women's peloton as well. Well,
I wish it's coming.
More equal. Let's put it that way. Yeah, you don't need a Pogačar salary. Maybe okay, we can understand that, but it might be a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah. That Audrey, back like you mentioned already briefly, back to the most shitty year in your career and probably your whole life up till now, I think 2022. First, you suffered a stroke. What happened?
Well, it was such a roller coaster. As I was saying just before, I was coming back from CMAC Ladies Tour when I won the TT. I was second on GC behind Lorena and was feeling the strongest, I think, of my career at that time. I was so ready for the Worlds. And I was about to jump in the plane to go to Australia. And the morning of it, I woke up so dizzy. I woke up like throwing up everywhere and telling my husband that something was wrong. And, you know, as an athlete, you are always sore. So it's a normal feeling, you know, to be sore, to be tired, to be, you know, that kind of, feeling. It's just a normal feeling. And when I told him, like, I feel not normal, there he started to really freak out because he said, that's not normal that she's saying that because she never says it. And I went to the hospital, to the emergencies. They didn't find anything. And when I went out of the emergencies, I said to my husband in the car, well, you know, maybe you're going to find me strange and crazy, but I had the feeling I had a stroke. And I just said that. And okay, we kept on. I remember that was on a Sunday. The Monday after, we had some friends because I missed the plane. So I was about to take another plane on the Wednesday. So we had some friends at home, had a normal night. And the federation, before I was leaving again for Australia, asked me to do MRI just to be sure that nothing was strange or nothing was wrong. So I sat there at the desk waiting for my results, and the doctor came and said, well, yes, stay sat. I have something to tell you, like you did a stroke. And I'm like, wow. This word is so scary. It's so scary, and you stick it to old people, and you're like, no, cannot be true. And my husband was white as a towel, and there my first question was, okay, I'm still there, I didn't die from it, so what's next? Like, can I ride my bike or and he's like, no, Audrey, you're not gonna ride your bike for some month, or maybe you're never gonna ride your bike anymore. And for me, I was like, no, I'm gonna ride my bike soon. Maybe not. I'm not going to the Worlds. This is okay, but I'm gonna ride my bike next year. That's for sure. And from there was the start of a long parcours to be on the bike. So that was the 11th of September, and I rode my bike for the first time the 7th of November. So
now you can tell probably.
So
back then,
yeah, exactly. I was like, now you see. And yeah, I had a test 3 weeks ago, and I'm perfectly okay. And I was lucky. I was I think a cyclist, and it helped me a lot mentally and also physically to recover 100%. And I had my heart surgery because it was coming from my heart, the problem, and everything is all right. So yeah, I was so lucky, and yeah, that's the message also I wanted to give to people is, yeah, never stop believing, because yeah, what the doctor says, they just don't want to give you too much hope, because if they are wrong, then you can come back to them and say, yeah, you told me it was okay and I would come back, and it's not true. But in the end, it's about yourself to fight for it,
And then how important was that French Federation actually in literally saving your life?
Yeah.
Just by asking like, Audrey, maybe a second MRI might not be a bad thing before you leave to Wollongong, because
it would have been a disaster if I was jumping in the plane and taking off. I would have probably died upstairs.
Yes. It's really shout out to the French Federation, because we might know that not every team, not every federation might give you that advice. Just say like, okay, you're clear to go, Audrey, get on that plane and start racing.
Yeah, and knowing the shape I had at that moment, they could have pushed for it, They could have, hey, maybe we have a chance to do something with her, so let's fly her over. Mm-hmm. But they just thought about me first, and that's, I think, you're right, not every federation would do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like all teams and all federations should have that reflex. Like no matter what's at stake, no matter what money or prestige might be involved, like
life is more important.
Yeah. It was kind of a hard comeback, especially because you're then a pro athlete. You're like, your career is at the top. Let's put it that way. The season you had. What kept you find the courage to keep on fighting? Was it Paris in your mind? Was it just the pure love of cycling that kept you going, or something different, or just prove people wrong? could be the case for Audrey as well.
all those reasons together. That's for sure. Because at the same time, I was supposed to I signed for another project in France, which was a super nice project. My husband was working for this team, so my future was clear. I would have finished my career there for 2 years, and then becoming probably the manager of this team, and everything was so smooth. And I was like, wow, that's all I wanted for all my career, to finish it off this way. And then suddenly you have a stroke. This team is never starting. You have no team anymore, and you have to come back from all this health parcours. And I was like, whoa, you know what? No one is gonna decide when I stop cycling. I'm the only one who's gonna decide, and it's not a stroke who's gonna decide for me, and it's not how I can say it to be nice. It's not those people who are gonna decide for me, and that's the reason why I kept on fighting. And I was right, because I probably did the best season start of my career in 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good thing you kept on fighting, Audrey. And then once you think you're finally back in business, you finally think like, okay, this shit show has passed. You have a contract or whatever they call it. I don't know if it was a real contract or so some fake contract with the apparently B&B hotel saga. So you thought like, I'm finally back. I worked for this. I'm back in the peloton. And then what?
You know, we have an expression in France. I don't know if you say it in Belgium or in English. I have no idea, but we say never two without three. So I had two shit moments, and then came the third one. So I signed with another team, Spanish team, new team. Okay, I didn't have so many choices in the end, so I chose for this one, and now I still regret it, but at the same time, I would not, like, what happened after would not happen if I didn't choose this team. And yeah, I did my first training camp by myself in Spain in December. And then, yeah, we started to race in Spain. I think it was Almeria, the first race in January. After another camp I did also by myself in Spain before. I was with Georgia, I remember. I was with Katja Ragudza and Caroline Swinkles. And I was feeling so bad the whole training camp, so tired, so bad. And came to this race in Spain, was third. I don't know how it happened. I was third, and I was like, wow, I never felt that good since so long. And you're like, okay, work has been paying off, you know? So you're really on a good path, ready for a really good 23 seasons. And then I arrived the end of the January month, and you're waiting for your first salary from the team. It doesn't happen. So you're asking why, and they're telling you, it's gonna come, you know, and we need time because it's a new team. Yeah, okay. End of February, no salary. And then in March, I started to think really like, I cannot continue like this. The conditions we were working were, I cannot describe you how bad it was. And yeah, we had nothing. We were paying for all the travels, for the food and everything. And yeah, it was just a disaster. And after Tour of Normandy, I was at the end, And my husband said to me one thing: Audrey, you have the tricolore on the shoulders and you are not respecting it if you stay in this team. And I was like, yeah, you are so right. So I decided to just like leave, but without anything. I was leaving for nothing. And the UCI rule says you cannot change team before the 1st of June, you know? And I was like, yeah, but how can this be fair when, you know, this team is not paying us? Like, all my teammates were also not paid. And we are the one punished, and we have to wait the 1st of June to do our job, but we didn't do anything wrong. So I just called the UCI and I explained the situation, and I said, you cannot let us in this shit. You cannot let us in this situation. Please help us. And the UCI was so good. And also, again, the French Federation was also pushing behind me, saying, we cannot let these athletes, who is a good athlete, but also all those girls who are also good athletes, we cannot let them on the side of the road. So let's help them, and we could go all free again, and we could all join another team straight away, which was super good news for all of us.
Yeah, can imagine. And was something off from the beginning already? Because how I remember it as a spectator, it looked all shiny, blinky. The bikes were like, they were like, woof, what entered the peloton here? Like Team ZAAF, with catchy name, with the ZAAF story, of course, from the Moroccan guy, if I'm not mistaken. There's
Algerian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was something off from the beginning, or just did it start in January and then you were like, something smells here?
I would say, yeah, I'm someone who can be really patient, and I would say until the end of February, I could still believe that it would happen and be better and everything. But then I did the first races in Europe, like in Drenthe and some in Belgium. And there I was like, yeah, this is not okay. I didn't change myself at the back of a car since I was junior. And I'm like, it's not that I'm a princess, but I deserve better. My teammates deserve better. We can just not go like this. And from the day I started to say, no, I don't want this anymore, or you move or I stop, I started to receive calls from the boss saying, yeah, you cannot do this. I'm going to bring you to the court. And I started to, I just blocked the number and say, yeah, fuck off. Sorry for the sentence. But yeah, I didn't wait for you to be a pro athlete and to be professional. And being professional is leaving your team, basically.
Yeah. Alaphilippe as a French champion is not dressing in the back of a car either. So why should you take this?
Exactly.
I mean, it's completely the same. And we were 2023 back then. I mean, women's cycling was growing and big enough already to just not do that anymore. Actually, yeah. So then it was very good that you got some place with the human powered health after that, because it was pretty emotional for all the ZAAF riders, right? And I think especially for you, I think you might be emotionally hitting rock bottom after that. Probably after all you went through.
Yeah, because I have in mind, the picture of me, the first picture I did as a profile picture for Roubaix.
Yeah.
I joined Human at that time, the week of Roubaix, so the Monday before Roubaix. And we were reckoning all the sectors, but the news was not on yet. And I had to wait for the UCI to sign my transfer. So I couldn't show myself, basically, with the team. And we were doing all the recons, and I was trying to hide. And people taking pictures of me. And of course, the news was spreading a little bit on social media. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I had to take this profile picture with the tricolore. And then now that I see this profile picture, I'm like, whoa, my face was the face of someone so tired. I was destroyed, completely destroyed from all of this. And I think the pressure was just like suddenly dropping, that I was so tired. And at the same time, I was in Roubaix with the tricolore. It was amazing for me to do it with the tricolore. And I was like, I have to take the start and to give my best. I have no choice now. This is now or never. And yeah, I went to the team presentation, and there I crossed the ZAAF team with all my teammates who were still in the team. We just fall in the arms of each other, crying. I jumped in the scene, and the speaker talking about all of this in front of the crowd. And people just encouraging me, cheer for me at that time. And I was just crying. And my dad was there, and he looked at me after and said, Audrey, I knew you would do nothing on this Roubaix because you did the race before the race, And it was emotionally, wow, one of the strongest moments I've been living in my life.
Yeah, I can imagine. I remember a picture of you together with Maggie Coles-Lister. I don't know if she was still at ZAAF at the moment.
She was.
She left quite late, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you were both crying. It was like tears of misery and then tears of joy, maybe, because you were now joining Human Powered Health. It's like complete messed up, I think.
Yeah, but we were also super sad because we had such a good bonding between each other with the girls. We had an amazing group. We were doing results. While we were living the disaster next to it, I was doing one of my best start of season. I was on podiums almost every races or close to the top 3 all the time. I was like, how can I do that knowing the conditions I'm working on, I don't know why. I don't know if it was me just trying to prove myself that I don't need to be in a bus to perform. But I had still to go to the Trek bus to see my old mechanics for them to put me the right pressure in my tires, because the mechanic I had in ZAAF was not able to do it. So I had also to swallow my pride, like to go back to my whole team saying, okay, can you help me? Knowing that if I knew, I could have stayed in Trek, but I decided to leave. And now I'm in this shit, you know? How do I look to them? You know, it's hard. It's really hard mentally, but I don't know. I just did it. I just fought so hard again.
Yeah, that actually, if I could just add one more question about that, Audrey, what took you so long? Because you're known to have a strong opinion, and it took until Tour de Bretagne until you ventilated.
I don't know. I probably, you know, I know is I didn't want to lose the face front of the world. That's it. Because I took the decision to leave. I already had to carry on with my stroke, my first échec with BNB. It couldn't be a third one. Like, I am Audrey Cordon-Ragot. I won a two World Tour races in 22. And now look where I am. I mean, come on. They're going to laugh at me. So that was the reason why I was keeping on going. And because I had results. So it was okay because sportively I was okay. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, was a very bad spiral that I was staying on. Yeah, and it's true. The normal Audrey or the more common Audrey would have said stop from the start. It's true.
Yeah, we can imagine. And I really felt for I think it was a Czech girl or a Russian girl who really stayed almost until the end, until like ZAAF had to abandon everything because it was completely. It was, I mean, in the end, you're one of the most luckiest ones from the ZAAF team because you quickly found someone, but there were some, leftovers is not a good term, but they
some
were like...
girls also just stopped cycling. Yeah, I brought, and I was also thinking so bad in both teams that crashed down because I brought with me so many riders. I brought with me Chloe Hosking, one of the best sprinters of the world. She had to stop cycling because of that. So I felt so guilty. That was also one of the reasons I couldn't pull out. I had to fight also because those girls had not the chance I had. And I brought other girls with me and I was fighting for them as well.
Yeah, not a great story, but but it ended pretty well. Let's put it. Let's end with a positive note about your cycling career then.
For sure.
You took your misery physically, emotionally, but then luckily the last 1.5 seasons with human powered health, you were back on track. How take us through your last season? Was it a great farewell show? I mean, that's maybe not correctly saying, but was it great to be back at the highest level, getting paid, getting a good mechanic, getting good dressing room, a bus to dress yourself?
Yeah. They really saved the end of my career, and I will never be thankful enough to Ho and to Kenny to give me this opportunity to race again at the highest level in good conditions. And those 1.5 years, those last month have been, for me, the best. I mean, I had a good team, good teammates, good staff. I was doing my job smoothly. I think, the fact that I really wanted to be at the start of Paris pushed me to have another approach of my season in 24, and I was sometimes a little bit scared in the peloton, scared to crash before the Olympics, to not be able to be at the start of the Olympics. And the Olympics were really the goal of my season. So it's been hard at the beginning to really find my way, and I didn't get the results I wish to have, and I wish to have for the team. And that was mostly the difficulties I found at the beginning of 24. But the team always supported me so hard. Like, they were so 100% on my projects, and I couldn't dream for something else. Honestly, they were the best. And when I left the team, I was in CMAC, and the last stage of the CMAC, when we had this, this last communion with all the riders, with my team, with my staff, was for me, was a very, very emotional moment. Was something that I will never forget. And And again, now I'm still probably the first fan of this team and pushing for them and trying to, when I'm commentating the races, I'm probably talking too much about them, but this is stronger than me, it's just in my heart now, and I will never forget it.
And you deserved, you received the farewell that you truly deserved, Audrey, because I think we can all agree on that. You're one of the leading ladies of the women's peloton. That you're very well known, very outspoken. So good thing your career didn't end with ZAAF, but you got a true farewell. You could ride off into the sunshine, like they say.
So, and then now you're, of course, a retired cyclist. But how is life today for you? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing so much things that I'm so tired, right? So it doesn't change so much from when I was a cyclist. I'm tired. But
it's classic for retired people, Audrey. They have no time.
Exactly. I was thinking I'm going to be like 1 year off, just enjoying sunshine, but sunshine is not there in Bretagne yet. So I have to work. And no, I'm really enjoying my time. I'm doing so many different things. Of course, I'm still really close to cycling world with Eurosport, and I've been commentating already quite many races. And yeah, it keeps me really close to cycling, which I really wanted when I stopped. And I'm doing also some. I'm going in companies, I don't know how you call that in English, but I'm trying to spread a little bit my experience in some companies, trying to inspire people, to tell them that it's never finished until you cross the finish line, This is something that you can spread to world, and it talks to everyone, and to show that being a professional athlete is really similar to be the boss of your own company, or to be just a worker, and also the importance of the mental coaching, because I've been working with a mental coach for 1 year, and it brought me so much good things, and it helped me so much that we are working together still to spread the right and the positive spirit of why you should work, how you should work, which people should surround you, and just to try to be positive. And when we go out of the room, this is a positive vibe going on, and that's what I like, to be honest. And third thing, I will work with the World Center, and I will coach some African riders who are coming next to my place for training for the World Championships in Africa. So I will look for them and try to give them the right advices, and to try to surround them the best I can, and try to put them on the podium in Africa. So that's so inspiring also for me.
You know what to do as a retired athlete.
Oh yeah, no problem.
That's for sure.
I'm not bored.
And then on to the latest news, Sar. We had the Strade Bianche last weekend.
Yes.
What are your takeaways? Tell us.
I gotta say, I didn't watch it in the best environment. I was on family weekend, and we were close to Arras, so we were going to the market. But I was like, okay, I want to do this, but also I don't care where I am. I'm gonna watch all of it. Yeah, of course, Italian coverage. It wasn't too much coverage, so I just watched the last 60 kilometers, I think.
Just a lot for Italian coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost the race, actually. That's almost the time I've been commentating, so.
So, yeah, I did it without commentary and just trying to watch something while also buying some clothes. But I think I saw the main things, let's say it like that. So, of course, as I said, it was like the first actually real battle, because I don't think Setmana Cyclista was already a real battle there on the highest level between Anna van der Breggen and Vollering. Still pretty weird, I think, for Vollering to coach against your trainer.
I think for both, teacher versus pupil. No.
But yeah, she won in the end. So I think that was also relieving for her after the omloop last week. They kind of gambled again, I think, with the break with Kim de Koer and riders like that. But Vollering was really lucky with Labou because she was so good. She was really impressive. And so, yeah, I was really impressed by Labou's actually and her teamwork. So,
Yeah, they were
also,
smart.
yeah.
FDG was smart this week. Completely the opposite from the tactical disaster this previous week.
Yeah.
Probably maybe the sponsors did a little call to Lars Boom to settle things straight. But you saw a strong music at the front.
But
And then
I think they had a stronger team also than in Newsblad, which was helping a lot to reverse the situation.
Yeah, and they were
for sure.
racing. They were not looking at each other. It was just like, we're FDG, we're gonna go for it. We have one strong rider with Evita in the main group. Then we have Labous still strong enough to work for Demi. And they I mean, completely the opposite from last week.
They were also probably just more confident that they could actually beat SD Works. And I think in the omloop, the big part was like, what if Vollering is not strong enough and Wiebes wins with SD Works? That was really what you felt at the omloop. And I think they were more confident that Vollering could beat someone like Anna van der Breggen. So I think that also helped in just like going all out this time. Also, very nice to see. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot was very good. Sadly, she crashed, but still, super strong race. Kind of
She surprised me.
The podium of the comebacks almost.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. That
But
Anna van der...
Sorry,
on,
but Pauline, she was physically strong, but I think where she impressed me the most was the decision, like those decisions she took at the right moment put her on the podium. Because I don't know if she's waiting with the best riders, probably she would have followed, but I don't know if she would have been able to be on the third spot of the podium. So I think she is like, for someone who tactically hasn't been on the peloton for so long. I don't know who was on the microphone. Probably was also someone really good, but I think Pauline was mostly reacting with the instinct, and that's also what makes her one of the best riders of the world.
Yeah, I think she used her experience to the fullest there. She listened to her body, and she took the gamble, more or less.
Completely.
Yeah, true. Then Saar, maybe a takeaway. Will Pieterse ever win Strade Bianchi if she's not going to finish solo with 1 minute up front before she starts Santa Caterina?
Oh, that's a big question.
I don't know. I expected more in that final kilometer from her. Maybe she's
maybe
good, but
not the best day. So I think she still has a long career. So it's like,
sure.
It would be like a very, very hot take to say like there will never be an opportunity in her career. But yeah, I maybe expected her to be closer to the podium at least. But also this, I think, is just a moment maybe. So
maybe she's just not targeting those first classics, and she's targeting a bit later on, maybe Flanders and the Ardennes. I don't know. I haven't been looking at her program, but I think she's first of all, still super young, and she has to deal now with a big pressure after winning one stage of the Tour, which that was something she didn't have before. And you could already see on cyclocross season, she was a little step under where she was the past years. Yeah. And I don't know if it comes from the pressure or from more media tasks, but I think she needs a little bit of time for dealing with all these new things around her.
For sure.
Yeah, the expectations are different. Like before, the media was like, woohoo, it's fun, Puck Pieters is there, we don't know what to expect. But now it's like, we have expectations for you. And she's like you said, she's still young, so it's not easy to manage. And I think for that she's good with a mentorship from Annemiek van Vleuten, I think.
Yeah.
Because I can really see in the media she's taking Puck Pieterse under her wings, like almost literally, and that might be a good thing for the future for Puck Pieterse.
That's what makes me think that maybe she's targeting more for the Ardennes and for the big tours, knowing that now she's working with Annemiek.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
That will be exciting to see. And indeed, just give her a bit of time. It can also just be like a moment, and it can be completely different the next race. So,
and I was surprised
to
see. I was surprised to see Longo Borghini drop 20k before the end, but after then, in the end, it appeared that she became ill during the race, or something was. Yeah. So I was like, oof, because she was parked 20k before the finish. I was like, oof, this is like not losing the front group. This is just being parked.
Yeah.
And in the end, it became clear that she was like. Something was completely wrong.
But she is coming back from altitude training, but what makes me a bit, I don't know, I didn't talk to her after Strade because I know after that she needs a bit of time to just like recover, and she doesn't want to be questioned too much. But normally when she comes back from altitude, she is performing really well. So it's not her habit to not be good afterwards. So for sure something was wrong. And I just think, when I saw her, I was commentating, and when I saw her position at the back of at the back of the group, or not at the back, but in the middle, I knew already like something is wrong, because I know her super well, and she's always right in the front, always. So she was definitely in a bad day, definitely.
Yeah, it should have been, because the way she dropped, it was not, like I said, it was not dropping. It was just like poof, parked, done. It's like, and the form she's in, that might have been very surprising if nothing more was going on. So apparently she became ill, or she was ill before the start already. Something like that. Bad timing for the Italian champion.
Yeah, just a little bit. I would say just a little bit sad that Persico couldn't be the leader instead of her, if she knew already she was not 100%, because I think Persico was. When I saw the work she did for her in UAE, I think she's in a super good form. When we were talking about Labous, I think Persico is the Italian version. And I think Persico could have been on the podium if she was not doing all the work before.
Yeah. Also, some crashes. As I said, sadly, Emilia Doma crashed out, DNF. Apparently no broken bones or something, but... It's of course not nice to just crash during the Spring Classics, and so always hate to see it, those crashes. I don't know during the race if there were some other things we should.
Where was Uttrup Ludwig?
Yeah. I think we were missing a lot of leaders. Like also Kerbaol was crashing quite bad. We didn't have Ludwig. Also, Cavalli was the comeback of Cavalli this season. And all those riders, I think we would see them, I think, a little bit later, probably already next weekend.
Yeah. Just still some question marks, which can maybe make it more interesting in the future. Then something completely else, maybe? Or unless you want to add something?
Go for it, Sarah. It's your moment.
I gotta say, we had the plan on was doing weekly runs, but it stayed at one. I'm quite impressed by myself, actually. But I think Belgian media deserves one after this weekend. Like, it started already in like the 3 days before Strade. They have always like these spots between just the programs to make some promo for the Strade, and it already started with like, will Pogačar and Kopecky win a third time in Siena? And I was like, how will Kopecky win a third time? She's not participating. So it was already like, who the hell is in charge of this? Like, it's just so easy. Oh, women's race, Kopecky, like, do your research. Anyway, I was a bit annoyed about that. Let's say it, but let's be honest, the worst thing still has to come. But it already started on like the info things that are on the TV, like today Pogačar can become the first reigning world champion to win the Strade, which I was also Women's Day. Is this really necessary? Because this is not true. But then it became even worse. So VTM, so like the TV part of HLN, let's call it like that, and Sportza, both just asked, or I think VTM actually asked that, but Sportza used the interview too, something like that, and they asked to Poggi, like, how does it feel to win the Strade as a reigning world champion for the first time. But we should say to all journalists, be more like Pogačar, because he did quite well. By mentioning Lotte Kopecky, of course, there have been Annemiek van Vleuten and Lizzie Deignan too, who deserve a mention too. But I was very pleased to see that. But apparently Sportza didn't learn, because in the evening news, the reporter again said Pogačar won as reigning champion in Siena for the first time. So if we talked about disaster clause and tactic at the Omloop, I think we can talk about the disaster clause at Belgian media this weekend.
That's how far copy-pasting leads you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the gap we still need to reach.
Yeah, we all should love Poogie. He's great for women's cycling. He might be a little bit boring for men's cycling recently, but he's.
As I said, I was on the family weekend, and everyone like, oh, we're just home for the men's race, and he does this again, and I'm like, we could have stayed at home for the women's race too. And then I was like, oh no, again those solos. And then I showed them this video, and I said, okay, he deserves a solo or two now, right? So nice to see that. But yeah, Belgian media can learn a lot. It's especially painful if the world champion who won last year, very impressive, is from your own country, I think. But yeah, we'll just close it off here.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ruben van Hucht says on Sports, I'm doing very much research. I'm sometimes questioning how deep his research goes. But anyway.
Are you seriously citing him? Because this is so...
What are you researching?
That's the reason why you should watch the races in your country on RTBF. That was a positive part actually of watching on the market. I didn't have to hear the commentary. So no, that's also, if we're talking about media coverage of women's cycling in Belgium, I think commentary is also something that could be worked on.
There are improvements possible. Let's put it that way. But I think we're not the only country that has some room for improvement, unfortunately.
No.
At least in France, they choose some people who know about women's cycling, so it's not that bad. Give me flowers, give me flowers.
It's an amazing commentary on Eurosport France. Just
Thank you.
It's the best.
I'll keep in mind when I want to train my French.
Yeah, exactly.
How's your Dutch, Audrey? Because...
Oof.
No.
I'm a Kaaskop.
Okay. Enough said.
Then maybe onto another race. We had the Trofeo Oro on Sunday. I was still on family weekend, so I just had a start when this time I was in Kortrijk. Eating a sorbet. I was like, oh, this race is going. So I searched the live stream and I just tuned in for the last 300 meters. So what I could see of those 300 meters I watched was that Vladarti pretty much worked to lead Swinkels to the win. and we had Pieterse there, on a good level because she became second after Swinkels. And also something I personally like to see is, although Lotte Kopecky is not there and Justine Jacquire is or was ill, still Margot van Pachtenbeek is doing quite well with the 10th place at the Omloop and now is 7th place here. So that was something I was like, yes.
And Swinkels again, she's strong.
Yeah, indeed.
She last
and
couple of
Vladavsky
seasons.
too, already from down under, looking very good.
Yeah, it's true.
And you learned how to pronounce Vladavchik.
Yeah,
Good,
I
Sash.
trained.
You made improvements from Australia. I don't know what you made of it, but this time it sounds better.
Yeah,
He
I
has
was
some
just
Polish
too
friends.
I was just too afraid. I just got complimented on my good pronouncing of names and I was like, oh, now what if I mess this up? I'll just color the Polish writer for this episode. But now I did my research and I think it's acceptable. So then we have Oettingen on Wednesday. Maybe it will be online, maybe it will a close call, but we'll preview it anyways. And we have Binda, but I suggest we focus on Oettingen first because the participants list of Binda isn't too filled yet.
To say the least.
So, but Oettingen is, so we'll start with that. It's always like maybe sprint, maybe like some break. Wiebes has won it a couple times. Paul Samuel has won it. Voila, like maybe a weirder name in 2023. But again, quite some good riders starting. We have Charlotte Cole. I don't know what the parkour exactly is.
Hard.
Flat with
Then we
cobbles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some nasty cobbled
No,
sections.
it's a hard one. Yeah, it's a very hard one. I think to in my opinion, when I see the sprinters at the start, I don't think they are good enough yet this season to make their team. Of course, probably Team Picnic Boston is gonna work for Charlotte, but the few races she's been doing, she's not super form yet. So I would bet maybe on if I look at the top competitors there, I think Clara Copponi is the best sprinter on the list.
Yeah.
And she's in good form.
Charlotte Cole has proven that pretty much every obstacle at the moment is a little too heavy. I tried to say the nicest way possible, but
it's a race above sea level.
Not so nice. So yeah. So indeed, Copponi is someone to look forward to. Attosalo after Les Amen, I think she can prove maybe it was just a bad race because that was.
Yeah, I'm always high on Annina, but since Les Amen, she's usually very good. I was like, oof, what happened here?
Yeah. I was mentioning her so you could hype her up again, but not this time.
I want to, but I don't know. My confidence is a little bit shaken.
I would bet on the Irish rider, Gillespie.
Oh yeah, Gillespie.
Yeah, Gillespie is really good.
Yeah,
Gillespie.
Yeah. And actually, Oettingen can turn out very, very strange. It can be a completely hard race, or it can be just like walk in the park and a mass sprint, bunch sprint. So it's so difficult to predict this one. I remember last year
quite dangerous also.
Yeah. Yeah, you have some nasty twists and turns there too, and then the cobble sections, not always. And it's gonna rain slightly, so that will make things probably even more dangerous. Yeah, we're back to normal Flemish weather, Audrey. This last week.
Finally!
Finally!
Finally, give me one reason to enjoy my retirement.
You feel at home. It's like Brittany.
True. We also have Georgia Baker, who was also quite good at Les Amen. Belgian commentary didn't realize she can sprint, but she can. Also, Maaike van der Duin is, I think, maybe that's a name to look out for. It depends on race situations. And Cons Lister, Consoli. Yeah, indeed. Maybe Scarlett Sauren, Victoire Berthaud. And of course, oh my God, I was almost gonna forget her. Mika Dox is riding again. Or
Yeah.
She could be in the break for sure.
So yeah, always
If I can
cheering
just
for some.
throw in some Team Coop Repsol fanboying,
Yeah.
I just hoping for Eline van Rooyen for a top 10 place in the sprint.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
So I go for Lily Williams then.
So I think we can wrap up Oettingen here. Yeah, think. Yeah, and then for Binda, of course, we have like some names. We know will ride. Normally, Vos is starting her season in Binda. Vollering should be there. Music, De Jong, Balsamo, Van der Breggen, Lamborghini. I also think Kim LeCour will normally start there. So yeah, it's hard to say much about it, I think.
I go for Music.
Yeah,
If she's allowed, if Demi didn't have her sight set on Binda, of course, because then she will fall in line and have to do teamwork. But she should be capable to win this.
I would go for Swinkles.
Nice. I'm going with Kim LeCour. Not saying that because I decided to skip Vollering in my wheeler manager, and Kim LeCour should save everything for me. But no, I believe in Kim. Also quite nice race and still top 14. So I think she was 14, something like that.
She will take one this spring, I think. Kim LeCour.
Yeah,
maybe Strade Bianchi was a little bit too hard with twice Lutolfi. But she's in good form. She might take one.
After standstills, hyped her up. I'm just, so I really believe she can win a big classic. So I'm here for it.
Why not Flanders? Yeah,
that's a hot take. That's a hot
According
take,
to
Audrey.
Stan, Milano San Remo should fit her the best. I
don't think
they are aiming for the podium there with her.
Yeah, podium. Yeah.
Or maybe he's just like blindfolding everyone and just focus everyone on Milano San Remo.
He's not in the car at the Tour of Flanders, so that could also be a part of that.
I would pick someone who goes down really well.
Yeah.
And then maybe to complete our 5-10 predictions, I'm just gonna play safe and go for people who are on the list right now. I think
there are only 3 on the list, so
I'm going with Van der Breggen on 5 and maybe De Jong on 10. It's pretty random.
So I go with Music on 1. 5 is for De Jong. And 10 is for Lamborghini. Yeah.
Nice. I think you can only watch it if you subscribe somewhere. Got someone asking me if you could watch it somewhere for free, but I don't think.
It's not on HBO either.
If you pay for it.
I paid for it.
Yeah, I did too, but some people don't. But it's the thing, you have Paris and the Tirreno on the men's side. So
I'm accommodating the race on Max. So
everybody pays for it now, Audrey. That's wow. Audrey is commentating. What are you waiting for, people?
But yeah, always a nice race. I think, of course, now with Milano Sanremo 2, it's getting maybe a little validated. It's remarkable. Less people know the race and are actually excited for it. But I'm here. I'm excited for it. So something to look forward to, of course. Then we also had a race in Spain. Alan van Dijk won.
That's not the most important. Everything else is more important.
But it was a race. And I just wanted to say this actually because Imogen Wolf also raced there. And if I'm correct, She won a stage, and if I'm correct, she's also racing in Oettingen, so I forgot to mention that. But it was a small race. Coverage was pretty bad. I tried to watch it, but no.
It was a big day out for Team Coop Repsol. Jesus, Sar. How did you manage to forget that? Sigrid Sauset came on second in one stage. They have 2 riders in the top 10. Yeah. They have Stina Kajevi top 10 in time trial. It was they were the 3rd team in the team rankings, and that as a Conti team, which is quite an achievement because, okay, it was 0.1 race, it was Extremadura, but the field was not that bad. So, they were very strong. So it was a complete success for the team. Just have to put it this way. It's not only Ellen van Dijk who won Vuelta Extremadura.
I also mentioned Imogen Wolf still.
Yeah, okay.
And then maybe the last thing that happened the last week, I think, was that the parkour of Milano Sanremo got announced. What do we think of the parkour?
Beautiful day out, starting in Genova, and then riding the same finale as the men's.
How many Ks it is in the end?
150, 160?
156, something like that.
It's a lot for the women's race, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a bit disappointed about that. I was really hoping for this race to be the longest one of the season. So I would have, okay, maybe 200 was a little bit too much, but at least if they have a 180 kilometer stage at the Tour, I would have put 190 or 185, just to make it the longest race of the season, I think.
Yeah, that were my thoughts too. Of course, like maybe at the men's it's maybe a bit too long, let's just say like that, but I think it could be longer here, just like for
just to make it
Sanremo.
Yeah, exactly, just to make it a little bit similar, because you like Milano Sanremo, okay, the first 200 Ks for the men is pretty boring, I would say, even the 250 Ks. But it makes it makes the race, because those Ks are making everyone tired, and that's not the same final as if you put probably 200 Ks, and of course the best sprinters will be able to go over the last one. So it should be the same. Like if you put only 150, then Lorena Wiebes becomes my favorite for the day. If you put 200, maybe she's still the favorite, but I would say that more riders would be able to win the race.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's all about the boring part in Milano Sanremo, because to be honest, Poggio and then Cipressa, I mean, if you put them on any race of 150k, it's like, Cat 4 climb maybe.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah.
So yes, a good takeaway, Audrey. Yeah, maybe an idea for next year. It's Italians. Maybe they're not convinced yet that women can ride 190
technically
kilometers.
Still like that rule that you can go over, what is it, this amount of kilometers.
True.
It still exists?
I think so. I would say I think it's 180 at the moment, or something like this. Or I think 180. Maybe I'm wrong, but something like this, yeah. But it needs to change. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, it has evolved. I mean, it doesn't have to be 250. That's maybe too soon. But
it needs to. Yeah, the fact that the races can be longer, it's gonna also feed some riders that we don't know yet, and maybe also it's gonna give the opportunity to the more experienced rider to be better than the young riders because of this reason, because it's longer, So, it would spread a little bit more the level in giving more opportunities to more riders.
But all in all, good start.
Yeah.
Some improvements to make, but good start.
Or restart.
Restart, yeah. Let's make it a start, and this just...
Restart. Let's keep the race existing for longer now.
Yeah.
Then I think we've had the latest news and some previews. I think we can just go back to the questions. So, Audrey, who are you beyond cycling? Are there any hobbies or things you like to do? We don't know yet, and you'd like to share with us.
I like to cook. So lately, I've been doing a a TV show for the regional channel where a chef came to my place to cook with me. So it was quite fun. And I also like to run. And since I've been retiring, I'm running quite a lot in the forest, like trail. And I'm doing also some races. And I won one not long time ago, like a 19K. So yeah, I kind of like it. You know, I like the competition spirit still. So for me, it's very nice to keep on doing some sport and doing some races.
Congrats to that.
Thank you.
Ex-pro cyclists starting to run or triathlon, they're the worst.
I know. I don't think I would be able to swim, so it's okay. But yeah,
they just come off the bike and you just win. Then it's like, hey, hello, here I am. I have basic endurance to go like 7 hours.
The difference is then the day after I'm in my wheelchair for at least 3-4 days. So that's the difference that I still have with the pure runners.
You're retired. You're allowed to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, true.
And then something else. What's the best thing cycling has brought into your life?
Oh, if I don't say my husband, then I'm gonna get divorced just after this podcast. No, but and at the same time, I think he's one of the nicest things that happened in my life because of cycling. Because we met because of cycling. We were together in the same club. But I also think all the friends I have now, almost all coming from cycling world, it's something precious and it would never happen without it. So relations in general.
And then we have like the 2 questions that return every episode. So Audrey, how do you think women's cycling has evolved in recent years? If you compare it when you start, I think it's a big difference.
You were in the middle of it, actually, of the evolution.
Yeah, I've been living all the steps, I would say, from changing myself behind the car to changing in a very nice and shiny bus. So it's been changing from A to Z, basically the last 10 years. You cannot compare both letters. It's just it's just amazing how fast it's been growing, and I think it's just the beginning, because I think we are women cycling 2.0 now, but it's gonna be in 2-3 years it's gonna be 5.0. It's just never stopping progressing in every aspect. So yeah, it's just so fast.
And then what do you think, or where do you think there's still improvement possible?
Well, I think for me, the what should change now, really, as fast as possible, is the difference between the 3 levels, because now we have those 3 levels, and the difference of treatment and working conditions between the World Tour and the Conti teams. Already between Conti Pro and World Tour, it's a huge step. And yeah, it should be a little less to allow those girls who are in the Conti Pro to have more chances to win big races. And yeah, as long as those 2 levels are not really, I would say, squared and ruled, it's going to be difficult for those young girls to perform at the highest level. So I hope they can give the same opportunities to everyone from the start. And then, of course, you have the level you have. So afterwards, it would be about the level you have and the engine you have. But from the start, if everyone can be on the same start line, would be good.
And World Tour teams, stop sending your best riders to the 0.2 races. Come on.
That should be not allowed.
Don't do that.
In my opinion.
So
same as having World Tour riders going down to the Devo team to race. What?
Yeah.
No, that should be only one way, like the Devo to the World Tour, and not the opposite way. That should change. And I think the UCI knows about it and will change it in the future. But the last few seasons, that was the problem. And also the organizers are happy to see World Tour riders coming. But if you are a 1.2 or a 2.2 race, it's to make the youngers growing, and it's to give them the opportunity to show themselves. But if those World Tour riders are coming to your race, then there is no point, there is no options, you know. and it makes some races disappearing. And we see now with Tour de Bretagne not happening this year. Yeah, you know, for this young generation, where are they gonna express themselves? There is no races anymore to the highest level to show themselves and to maybe have the opportunity to go upper. So it's a little bit sad, yeah.
Yeah, the feeling of success for the youngsters in point two races is very important. It's not riding for place 5. That's not. I mean, okay,
Fair.
it's not all about winning at that age, but still, it's nice to have that experience. Winning is fun. I mean, just say it like it is. Just putting your hands in the air and win a point two race for a youngster. That's growing. That's the best feeling. That it's complete morale boost they can have actually. So World Tour teams, stop doing that. It's not fun. It's probably not fun for the riders as well, because they're just winning with the fingers in their nose, like we say in Dutch.
Yeah, but I also understand at one point that some World Tour teams need points, and there is also this points battle who is just like destroying everything. And it's also the same for the men. You know, you see some tactics in the races you don't understand, like why are they not working for each other just because they want to be 8th, 9th and 10th to get the points. So it makes cycling so boring sometimes, and also so, I don't know, I sometimes don't understand what's happening. So yeah, I don't want women's cycling to become like this, but it's on the same way, unfortunately.
And then, since we invited Audrey to the podcast, a woman with an opinion, we have some small bold statements maybe. Like the first one, Audrey, is the Tour de France Femme a blessing or a curse for women's cycling, and especially for the smaller teams? And I think for the World Tour teams, it's the best that can happen. But what about the smaller teams that don't earn a lot of prize money, that are just there and could pick up UCI points in other races during the Tour de France? Is it interesting for them?
I think, for the same reason, I think the 1.2 and 2.2 should be for the smaller teams. I think the World Tour races should be for the World Tour teams. And I don't think it's a present to invite last year this team from the east. I don't even remember the name of it. Tashkent.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not okay for those girls. I think they had no desire to race. And it's also not showing a good picture of women's cycling. So, you know, I think if there is categories for races, it's to respect the riders racing them. And it's dangerous for World Tour riders to race with club riders. And it's dangerous for club riders to race with World Tour riders. We should, now I think women's cycling is professional. We shouldn't mix everyone together. We should have races for all categories, amateurs, professional, World Tour riders, you know, it should be like this. But we are still sometimes in the same schedule and the same, I would say, mentality mindset, exactly, as 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So sometimes things are not growing at the same time, you know, like professionalism is growing, but rules are not going at the same, are not growing at the same speed. So it makes things sometimes really dangerous for riders and also very sad for riders, to be honest. This Tashkent team was a sad story for the Tour last year.
Yeah.
For the organization, for the riders, for everyone.
It fell completely apart within the team as well, if you read stuff about that. I think team management had like the highest expectations ever, but hey, come on. I mean, it's Tashkent City. You were in for a rude awakening. You knew that beforehand, before you started the race. So that was not managing expectations from the management, I think.
What was super painful is after the Tour de France, there was one rider who was clearly very talented, and you know, Janina Kuskova, who wanted to go to the World Championships, but they only wanted to book her flight the day before she was actually racing. And when she then said like, okay, no, I don't want to do this, they said, okay, then you're not going, we're not paying for anything. And you won't get your bike and your wheels. So then she goes on her backup bike there, and then it was something really weird, but the men's bonds coach apparently was still bonds coach of Uzbekistan, but lived
National
in
coach,
Sweden.
sad.
Oh, not again. The national coach of the men's, he was like still the national coach, but not really in good papers with the national federation. So she went to him,
What a
and
mess.
then
A shit show.
he needed to give the spot of Janina to some Swiss girl, to some Swedish girl who once was from Uzbekistan, but he didn't want to do that. So Janina could start. So that was like, whoa.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Prehistoric cycling at its best. Jesus. Audrey, do you think the disappearance of some true women's classics like Tour of Scandinavia or the Vogard Tour that you won once in Sweden, is it a sad thing that it's gone, or is it just a result of the evolution of cycling that's becoming more and more professional?
Yeah, unfortunately, some organizers can survive and some others cannot. And that's a pity because those races were amazing. And they were also, I would say, Sweden was almost one of the monuments of women's cycling existing since so many years. But yeah, we all know how much more they have to pay for security, for all the UCI rules that are new every year, and some are just so tired of searching for sponsors, for money. Also, some countries are changing their rules on sport events on the road because we are using public roads, and it's often a big battle for the organizers. So yeah, unfortunately, it's almost fight or die. And I understand that some people also have a family and her work and a proper job, and they just cannot do both together. It's just too much after some years already battling every year. So yeah, it's a pity because I really loved it, and Scandinavia is just amazing. But still, we have a new race, a new classic in Copenhagen, which I'm looking for discovering. And yeah, it's just it's about the cycle. Maybe those races will come back, maybe not. Other are now existing, like Milan-San Remo. And yeah, I was talking about Tour de Bretagne, who is unfortunately also cancelled this year. And it's, they are cancelling it because they are missing 35,000 euros. It's just nothing. It's just
seriously.
nothing. Yeah.
In a corporate world, that's peanuts.
Yeah. But it is, it is about 1,000 euros sometimes. And that's, as riders, sometimes we are complaining and we are like only seeing the glass half full. But yeah, we need to sometimes have a bigger perspective of what's real in our cycling world. And yeah, it's not easy every day for the actors of this world. Yeah.
Speaking about money, it could be Saar's rent, it could be my rent, but go for it, Audrey. What do you think of the prize money compared to men's races, except for Flanders Classics? Shout out to them. But we saw last weekend Strade Bianche's prize money.
Or some too.
Some yeah.
Yeah,
I start to cry.
Yeah, I'm partisan of we should have the same. But I know that some people are not thinking this way. I'm thinking more, okay, if you do only 70% of the kilometers of the men, then you should get 70% of the prize money they get, which is not even what we get. So
we're far away from that.
Exactly. So I would at least be happy if it was this rule, because it would be already much more money than what the girls are earning at the moment. But I was part of a team who was raising up the prize money to the same level as the men when we had the same races with Trek. And I thought the teams doing it would push the organizers to do the same, but it's still not the case. Let's say it's the next step. And I hope the step is going to be taken soon. But for sure, this is not enough. This is definitely not enough.
Just to give an example, maybe at the Summit last week, I saw it on Blue Sky. The men's winner got 5,787 euros, and the women's winner got 560 euros.
they missed the zero, and it is a typo, I think.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was there in Samin because I was the guest for the organization, and talking with them, it's also a question of first we want the race to survive.
Yeah.
And then we want the race to progress and to be better every year. And it's one of the rare race that are thinking like this. And they're really considering the girls. They're really, I've been living with them for 5 days. I saw how they were working hard for the same as like not doing any difference between both races. And I know they want to do better, and I know they want to do more for the women race. But knowing that at the moment the sponsorship is more for the men, and that the sponsor who are giving money for the men don't want yet to give the same for the women, and they are pushing for it. And I've been fighting with some of the sponsors who were there during the conference, the press conference, saying, well, look, guys, today, if you are investing in women's cycling, you are on TV the same as the men, on the same races. For little less money, you will get more exposure, and probably you will win more races if you are sponsoring teams in World Tour level. And probably you cannot sponsor a World Tour team in the men yet because you cannot give enough money. So you are still in a Conti team or in a Conti Pro. But if you put the same money in a World Tour team, today you are on the tour. Look at the difference, how much bankable you can be on women's cycling than on men's cycling today. And they were like, what is she saying? But at the same time, I'm sure then they came home, they were in their car and they were thinking, fuck yes, she's right. And I hope if we are more saying these and putting this in their heads, they would sponsor more women races and more women teams. But it needs to grow, you know, it needs to grow and it's like a plant. It needs a bit of time, sun and rain, and it's gonna shine one pound. I believe.
Me too. We have to. Otherwise, we can just close this podcast.
Yeah, true.
No, for sure. And then another one of my most biggest frustrations is the race calendar. Audrey, what do you think about that? And not just to say out loud like or Giro or Vuelta should just be replaced until August, September to fill that gap. But what are your thoughts?
I thought at the moment everyone is trying to do their best. It's a little bit of a casino, and I think the real problem is really the race categories. When we will have a real 2-3 level program like the men, it would be much easier to fit everyone in. But at the moment, everyone wants to do everything, every races. So you have team of 16 riders max who have to race almost 200 days of racing. Like, whoa, come on. How is this possible? It never happens in the men peloton. You know,
it doesn't make any sense physically.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And that's the reason why if we have real categories of teams, then you have also different categories of races, then everyone find the happiness in racing, you know? So yeah, again, time is gonna make the things, but they need to hurry up a little bit at the UCI, I think, on these points, on these topics.
And then to conclude this, if you could just add one big race to the calendar. You can copy it from a men's classic, or you can just invent one. Which one would you really want to add to the calendar?
For me, it's super easy. It would be Trop-Léon.
Oh yeah, nice pick.
For sure. 100% would be amazing to see the women riding it.
It's good for it's good in the calendar, right? For the
yeah,
women.
it could fit really well the calendar. They should start with a 1.2.
There's a gap to fill.
Well, it's now about ASO to decide it because they bought the race, I think 2 years ago now. So could be.
I hope. And then to maybe wrap things up, Audrey, we didn't talk about it very much, but probably you have some more insights about it. How is the French women's cycling scene doing? And then, of course, we all know Evita Musit, we know Juliette Labousse, Clara Copponi, but what's coming up? What's coming?
Yeah, I hope soon another world champion. We haven't been world champion since 2014, and I think we have the cards to make it. I think the only thing missing, and that's from my experience, it's the bonding between the girls when they are in the national team. I think too many times we saw girls racing their own, which is not ideal. Now, maybe in the past you could do that, but now for sure you need to be as a team. And I think Kopecky would never win if she didn't have a team around her. So I think we should look a little bit how the other national teams winning in the, like not so long ago. And I thought about Belgium, a little bit less about Netherlands, to be honest, but more about Belgium. More about Belgium. To be honest, this is the only little drop that we miss at the moment. But I'm really hoping for this year that we can have a world champion, knowing that it's a hard course and we have really, really good riders in the climbs at the moment. So yeah, that could be the French year for a new world title.
Mm. Yep, I would say we hope with you, but yeah, let's be honest.
Why no?
Don't know. We have a certain world champion in our own ranks, so
she also has kind of good chances as well, I have to say. But if she wins Tour, then you can let us win the world.
Yeah,
that's a good
I can maybe I can give in on that, to be honest.
Should fight it out with Saar. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna sit back and eat some popcorn and watch this show.
That's good. I like people who love their countries. No worries.
So that's brilliant, Audrey. I think with this we can wrap it up.
Yeah, definitely a record episode.
Way too long, Audrey.
Sorry, you need to do 2 episodes because of me. Yeah. I'm talking too much. Sorry.
But it's interesting, so.
Yeah, I think we both loved it.
Yeah, we could have talked forever like this.
Yeah. You want to be co-host sometimes?
Let's have a coffee.
Yeah,
let's have
sure.
a coffee. Maybe I will be there for Liège, so, and also for Roubaix, or maybe not. But probably at one point we cross each other and we sit down. Would be fun.
Yes, nice.
I'm mainly everywhere. After the Italian classics, I'm about everywhere.
Cool.
And then Tour de France, of course.
Yeah, I will be there so for the first 3 days as well. So yeah.
And to wrap up, the thing I take away with me from your talk here, Audrey, is keep the passion and the love for cycling, and that's truly the only thing that matters, and all the rest comes from itself if you're talented.
Yeah,
that's what I take away from your episode here.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Take with that thing, and, we can go for it, Sarah.
No. To add that, I think something else is the conclusion here is we need more people like you in the sport because.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. You have an opinion and you're not afraid to speak up, and I think you're just like an example for everyone, for the media, for young cyclists. So I think you're a very special person for the sport, even now you're retired. So also thank you for being here today.
Yeah,
you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Your opinion makes sense and it's valuable because a lot of people these days have opinions, but they're not so much valuable sometimes. But yours truly is.
Thanks.
So thank you, Audrey, and good luck. And
you too, guys. Enjoy
hope our paths will cross
the
during the season. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Bye.
Bye-bye. Women's cycling is packed with action, and we're here to bring you every twist and turn.
Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music or YouTube so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And if you like today's show, a rating, like or comment really helps us reach more listeners.
Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates, our Guess the Guest game and more.
Thanks Audrey for joining us today. And don't hesitate to share your questions or topics you'd like us to cover.
And stay tuned for more exciting guests and join our prediction competition. And tag She Rides podcast on Blue Sky to show off your knowledge. And She Rides is powered by KDM Endurance Coaching.
Thanks for listening to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching with fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.